On episode 445 of Nintendo's Switchcraft, Riverbond is here. Another indie world is on its way, and you can finally play together in Minecraft no matter where you are. Those stories and more on this episode of Nintendo Switchcraft.
Hello, this is Crazy Legs from Billings, Montana, and you are listening to Nintendo Switchcraft.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Switchcraft, your source for all the Nintendo news that you are looking for. Switchcraft is brought to you live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday over at twitch.tv/runjumpstomp. Tune in live over there. I want to apologize to the people who are here live. I am a little bit late today, and for that I apologize. I had a meeting after work, and that's why the show is late. But hey, I wanted to be able to bring you the Nintendo news, so that's what we're doing today. Listen, speaking of this episode of Switchcraft is made possible by patrons like Martin S. Get Switchcraft and my other content ad-free for as little as $1 by joining the Patreon over at patreon.com/runjumpstomp. Big thank you to all of the patrons who help me make content that I think a lot of people enjoy. If you want to leave a voicemail like Crazy Legs did at the beginning of the show, this is a very easy thing to do from any device. You know, you're on your PC, you're on your phone, you're on your tablet, wherever you are on any device, just go to runjumpstomp.com/voicemail and choose the correct show and leave a message for us. And I may even play it on the show. All right. We got a lot to get through and not a lot of time to do it because, as I said, this is late. I am beginning recording this well after I usually finish recording it. So I'm going to have to go pretty quick to get through everything. I want to start today by talking about a game that I received a review copy of, and that is Riverbond. Riverbond was shown off. I can't remember when it was shown off, but it was shown off a while ago on the... I don't believe it was at E3. I think it was in an Indie World, which if you don't know what an Indie World is, Indie World are these videos where Nintendo is showing off a bunch of independent games that are coming to the Nintendo Switch. And Riverbond really caught my eye as this really incredibly colorful voxel style world where you've got like this top-down Diablo-like perspective, and as you play through it, it's got these really adorable characters and extremely bright colors and stuff like that. And I immediately said to myself, that game looks really, really appealing. And they sent me a review copy of the game, which I've got right here. And if you want to check out my first look, that I think it posted earlier today. Today being the 9th of December. But I've been playing this game, and it's really good. It's very, very good. It is, of course, one of my favorite genres, the genre of Diablo-like games. And this very much feels like a Diablo-like game, although a little more button mashy and a little less about the special abilities that you have. There's a lot of stuff going on as far as how you play the game. For instance, you have a lot of different weapons that you can pick up. You can pick up big, heavy swords or little tiny swords, or even you can have like these little knuckles that go on the on your fists, and you can attack those, which attack very quickly but don't do a lot of damage. You also have ranged attacks. You have different characters that you can be as well. You can be like a bunny or a frog. You can turn into like a little penguin if you want. But overall, actually, no, those are the levels that you can go to. Let me look through. Okay, so yeah, so far I've unlocked Bob, the manic cat, Zoe, which is like a zebra of some kind. You can also be Max, which looks like a bunny wearing a hoodie. A donut is another character that you can be. You can be a watermelon that wears a black headband, a little pug, and there's just a bunch of other ones that I've unlocked so far, and it's really fun. It's a fun game, and I recommend that you check out the first look video if you want to know more about it. Again, check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/run jump stomp. Let's move on. I want to talk about, I just talked about a brand new game from Indie World, and I suppose I should mention that we got a new tweet from Nintendo of America, which basically says tune in tomorrow, December 10th at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, for a new Indie World. We just talked about a game that was shown off at an Indie World, and now we're getting an Indie World game or an Indie World showcase tomorrow. Is the showcase live stream featuring roughly 20 minutes of information on some upcoming indie games for Nintendo Switch, and they've given us the place to watch the live stream there, indieworld.nintendo.com/showcase, although I'm sure that you can also watch it at twitch.tv/Nintendo, as well as youtube.com/Nintendo. Hey, I'm going to be at work but at the time that this happens, so I won't be able to do a live stream. For those of you who don't know, a lot of times whenever there is one of these events and I'm not working at the time, I usually will co-stream it so that we can watch it together and kind of pick things apart after the show and get my reactions live. That's usually a lot of fun. But what do I expect from tomorrow? Well, I expect to be surprised. I always expect to be surprised from Nintendo. And I definitely expect to be surprised from the indie worlds. They're going to show off some games that are going to be exciting, because some of my favorite games on the Nintendo Switch are independent games that are not AAA games made by these giant publishers, games made by small studios and published by small studios, that they bring some fantastic gameplay to the Nintendo Switch, and I'm very excited for tomorrow. Now, which game, what are my predictions for tomorrow other than being surprised? I think that they are heavily, heavily, heavily going to focus. It's 20 minutes. I don't know how much time they're going to spend on it, but I fully anticipate that we are going to see some Shovel Knight, King Knight footage. We're going to see a lot of that because the game is supposed to come out. I believe it's tomorrow that the game comes out. I'm very excited. Apparently, it's getting like really, really good reviews, which is great to hear. I'm super excited for this game, and I'm 99% sure that Indie World is going to either open or close with King Knight stuff, and maybe even further announcements from Yacht Club Games, which I think would be really cool. I mean, they've been working on this for a very, very long time. They've been working on the Shovel Knight franchise, and now it seems like they're finally closing out all of their responsibilities. For those of you that don't know, the Shovel Knight franchise, or the Shovel Knight game, it started as a Kickstarter, and all of this extra DLC that we've gotten for free has been stuff that was promised because they hit certain goals as part of the Kickstarter. And now they have fulfilled all of their promises. But Yacht Club Games has said repeatedly that Shovel Knight is their mascot. It's the thing that they want to. This is their Mario as far as they're concerned. So I fully anticipate that they're going to do more with Shovel Knight down the road, and I do hope, while they've clearly shown how amazing they are at designing and implementing a 2D side-scrolling action game, I'm very interested to see what they can do that can be wildly different from that formula with the Shovel Knight universe, because I think that they've done a great job, and I can't wait to see what their next project is. Fisto in chat is saying, curious to see if there's another project from House. You know what? I anticipate that House is probably going to double down on Untitled Goose Game and start releasing DLC. I don't know if we'll see anything, since Untitled Goose Game, I don't want to say just came out, but it came out fairly recently. So I don't know what I'm expecting other than to be surprised. I know that I expect to see a lot of Shovel Knight stuff, as well as some really cool independent stuff. But what I don't expect to hear anything about Smash Brothers unless it's an independent character like Shovel Knight being included in Smash Brothers. But I don't think that that's going to happen because he's already in Smash Brothers as a trophy character. I don't expect to hear anything about Animal Crossing. I know that we're only 3.5 months away from Animal Crossing. What I can't remember what's the subtitle of the new Animal Crossing game that's coming out next year. I can't remember. It doesn't really matter what the subtitle is. We're 3 months away from it. It's supposed to come out in March. New Horizons. Thank you very much, Joe Mead 24. We're about 3 months away from Animal Crossing New Horizons. I don't anticipate that we will hear anything about that in Indie World. I welcome being wrong, but I just don't think that that's something that we're going to be seeing. So I'm very curious as to what games. Look, you're going to watch this or listen to this. By the way, this is also on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/runjumpstomp. Which, by the way, I anticipate I will be putting out more content there soon. In fact, I think maybe on Tuesdays I might do an open mic over on my Run Jump Stomp YouTube channel where I just sit down and chat about video games with you guys. But we'll see what happens tomorrow if I have time. Anyway. I'm very curious what you all think. Like, you're going to listen to this today, and then tomorrow you're going to find out all of the Indie World stuff. And then, of course, the next episode of Switchcraft comes out on Wednesday, so I'll be able to respond. But in the meantime, I would love to hear of the games that have come that are announced tomorrow. I would love to hear which ones are you most excited for, and which indie things are you hoping that we're going to hear about tomorrow. Let me know. I might read that kind of stuff on the show. All right, let's move on. And I want to talk about, and that is the wrong button. I think that sure enough, I closed the wrong button. Or I closed the wrong, I opened the wrong show notes. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. All right, Donkey Kong Country. Donkey Kong Country is one of the most popular Super Nintendo games. Of course, not on the Switch. They just announced some new Switch titles or some new Super Nintendo titles on the Nintendo Switch through the Nintendo Switch Online app, and Donkey Kong Country is not in there. But I still wanted to talk about Donkey Kong Country because there's this story from GoNintendo.com, which I got to be honest, I didn't even know that this was a project that anybody was working on. But apparently somebody has been working to restore the soundtrack of Donkey Kong Country to its original studio quality. And it's taken them many years to complete this. They have finally tracked down the last track, and they have gone through the entire soundtrack, and they've restored the track. They've spoken to people who worked on it at the time. They used the original workstation keyboards and drum machines in order to recreate the music from Donkey Kong Country. And I have to say, as somebody who never really played much Donkey Kong Country, I played Tropical Freeze and I thought it was fantastic. But the original game, it came out very late in the Super Nintendo cycle. And at that point, I had kind of moved on to other stuff. So I didn't end up playing Donkey Kong Country until well after the fact. And I have to say that the music in this is fantastic. It's really, really good. And it's, quote unquote, the way that it's meant to be heard. If you are curious as to what this sounds like, do yourself a favor. Go to runjumpstomp.com. And this is in episode 445. I can't believe I've done this 445 times. This is in episode 445, so you can follow the show notes there over on my website, runjumpstomp.com, and I just messed up my hat. There we go. So you can listen to it yourself. It sounds fantastic, and it's really, really good. So check out the show notes if you want to know more about that. Let's take a quick break. We'll hear from a sponsor. When we come back, I want to talk about 3 games that have been nominated by IGN for Game of the Year. Stick around. All right, we are back, and IGN nominated 3 games for Game of the Year. And what games are those? Well, I'm sorry, they nominated more than 3 games for Game of the Year, but they nominated 3 games on Nintendo Switch for Game of the Year. So I'm curious. I want you all to think about this for a minute. Which of these games which of the games that you've played this year or the games that have released on Nintendo Switch this year do you think IGN selected as their game of the year nominations? All right, think about it. Pause it if you need to. All right, have you come up with your list? All right, let me tell you the games that I'm going to list all of them, not just the Nintendo ones. So first off, Resident Evil 2 remake. I've played this on PS4. It's very scary. The graphics are gorgeous. It's also disgusting and really, really well done. I had a really good time playing this game. I haven't finished it yet, although I feel like I'm in pretty far in the game. Slay the Spire is a card game and roguelike game that I actually got through Xbox Game Pass on my PC, and it's very, very interesting, and I can see how this game can be incredibly addicting. Basically, you have to climb this tower, and as you do so, you have a deck of cards that you can use to attack enemies on your way up, and every time you play it, it's going to be a different experience. So it's definitely good. The graphics are kind of weak, but it's still awesome, and I think that's I don't know that it's game of the year quality, but it's still really good. It's still really good. Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. I haven't played it. I don't really know anything about it. I know it's from Software, and they are the developers of the Dark Souls series. So I know that there's a lot of people who absolutely love these games. The Outer Wilds is basically Fallout in space, and if that isn't enough to convince you to check it out, then I don't know what to tell you. It's fantastic. It's got great graphics. I'm playing it on PC through Xbox Game Pass. Or shoot, I'm convincing Outer Worlds and the Outer Wilds. Okay, so Outer Wilds gives you okay. I don't know what Outer Wilds in because I was talking about the Outer Worlds. I haven't played this game, so there you go. Let's move on. Fire Emblem Three Houses. I played a lot of Fire Emblem Three Houses. I played probably about 50 hours of that game, and it's awesome. It's really awesome. There are parts of the game that I despise, like I can't stand all of the stuff at school, but the stuff where you are the combat itself and the puzzles that you have to figure out how to defeat the enemies on the battlefield is just fantastic. It's top notch. The graphics are great. The art is awesome, and overall, I think that Fire Emblem that is a very good contender for Game of the Year, in my opinion. Control, I don't know anything about. I haven't played it, so I'm just gonna skip past that. The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening remake. I know that there's going to be a lot of people who say you can't have a remake on there, but Resident Evil's on there. It's weird that we have 2 remakes on the list this year, but they're both fantastic. Listen, it's not often that I finish a game, and I finished Zelda Link's Awakening. This game is fantastic. It's so good. There are definitely frame rate issues that Nintendo should address and make better, but overall, I think that this is one of my favorite Zeldas of all time, and Zelda is like my favorite franchise. So I'm saying definitely, if you haven't picked this up, you need to pick up Link's Awakening remake. It's just too good to take a pass on, and that's what a lot of people will say about the Game Boy version. But this one basically addresses a lot of the problems that I had with the Game Boy version, being limited to only having 2 buttons and just being clunky in general. This just is smooth and awesome. Disco Elysium, I've never even heard of this. I don't know anything about it, so I'm going to move on. And then the Outer Worlds. Okay, so Outer Wilds and the Outer Worlds are both on here, and and the Outer Worlds is the one that is Fallout in space. That was also nominated. So okay, everything that I said before applies. It's too funny that they're both on here. And then we've got Pokemon Sword and Shield. I haven't played it. There's a lot of people who say that this doesn't belong on the list because it doesn't have the full Pokedex. Listen, here's what I have to say to the people who say get the remakes off of there and get Pokemon off of there because it doesn't have the full national dex. To those people, I say, if the game's fun, that's what matters. So, Pokemon Sword and Shield, according to a lot of people, it's really, really fun. I mean, the Discord, the runjumpstomp.com/Discord, join it. There's 900 people in there. There's a lot of people talking about Pokemon in there, like nonstop. They're constantly saying, "Hey, I want to trade," or can we do this, or let's meet up and do a gigantic battle or whatever they're called in the game. I don't know because I haven't played it yet. But Pokemon Sword and Shield nominated for Game of the Year from IGN, and then finally Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I'm holding back from buying this. I'm doing as good as I can. I know it's not a Switch game, so you guys might not care about it, but this looks really good, and everything that I've heard about it is that it's fantastic. So those are IGN's Game of the Year awards. Now, I'll say of the ones that were nominated from Nintendo, I think that the best one. Okay, having not okay, I don't know how to say this. I haven't played Pokemon Sword and Shield, so I don't know that I can really speak to this. But for me, I'm hoping for Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening remake to win this year. Out of the Nintendo ones, out of all of them all together, I don't know. I don't know which one I would pick. I would probably still go with Zelda because it was just so damn good, and it grabbed my attention and held on tight. So I'm curious as to what you guys think. Which of those games do you think is the best this year? And do you like? Are you? Tell me both the Nintendo game that you think is the best and the game that you think should win overall. And if those are the same game, then that's fine as well. All right. Minecraft. We got a tweet today. Is it today or yesterday? Yeah, it was today. 10 a.m. today. Minecraft tweeted out, time to bring the whole extended family together for the holidays. The Bedrock version of Minecraft is coming to PS4. Cross-play with your friends on Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, Windows 10, and mobile. What will you do together? So look, now you can have people in a green room, in a blue room, and in a red room, and they can all be playing together. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then go to my YouTube channel and watch the video. So look, Minecraft is one of the greatest games ever made, without a doubt. It is fantastic, and it's awesome that Sony finally pulled that stick out of their butt and said, oh, you know what? Let's let everybody hang out together and play together. Irregardless, I don't think that's a word. Regardless of what platform they're playing on, let's just let everybody hang out. And Microsoft and Nintendo, they got on this quick, but Sony was the one that was holding everything back and not letting things happen. And it wasn't too long ago, and I talked about this a lot on the show, as well as my other shows, but it wasn't too long ago that that Sony said, all right, we're done beta testing the cross-play stuff. We'll go ahead and open it up to everybody. And sure enough, now we can start seeing the fruits of the labor there. Everybody can play together, and that's the best thing for gamers in general. I hope that this is something that we can count on in the next generation of consoles. I hope that next, like the PS5 and Project Scarlet, I hope that they all have cross-play functionality in every single game so that we don't have to worry about which console our friends bought. Overall, I think that's great. All right, real quick before we get out of here, I did get a tweet from Webhead 524, and this was actually been in the show notes for a couple of episodes, and I never get to it. So this is real quick. I'm going to read his tweet. He says, I did pick up a physical version of Skyrim on Friday for my birthday. Happy birthday. I appreciate you for hanging out. He got a physical version of Skyrim for $10. chose a physical copy because it's much easier to swap between Switches with the same account. So it seems like he has multiple Switch consoles, and they're all registered under the same account. So what I'm curious is to Webhead, and maybe you can write in and let people know, or let us know in the Discord, is what's the save game transfer like? Is it something that you have to remember to do each time, or is it something that just happens in the background and you really don't have to think about it? So, maybe you've got your full size Switch plugged into the dock and it just sits in the dock all the time, and maybe you've got your I can't reach my wife's Switch Lite, but maybe you've got the Switch Lite and you take that with you and you play Skyrim, and then when you get home, it automatically syncs up, which would be just amazing. I don't think it does, and if it's a thing where I have to do something, then it's going to cause a problem for me every time. I just wish it would work like iOS does, where if I have something on my phone and I want to use it on my iPad, the same data just is in both places. It's just so easy. And I'm just curious how that's working out for you, Webhead. Anyway, thank you for the feedback. I appreciate it. All right. I got to get out of here. I've got stuff to do today. If you want to become a part of the community, join us over at runjumpstomp.com/Discord, like I said earlier. You can also watch the show live at twitch.tv/runjumpstomp. You can join the YouTube channel over at youtube.com/runjumpstomp. My plan is tomorrow at 3 p.m., the normal time that I record here. Tomorrow, I'm planning, temporary plan, we'll see how it works, but I'm planning on doing an open mic where it's just, I don't have a plan on what to talk about, and it's just games in general, Nintendo stuff, Xbox, PlayStation, Stadia, PC, anything is up for grabs. We can talk about anything. It's going to be over at my YouTube channel, youtube.com/runjumpstomp at 3 p.m. We'll sit there and have a conversation, and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. So join us over there on the YouTube channel. Before I get out of here, I just want to thank Noteblock for allowing me to use their fantastic music, which you're about to hear right now, Corneria Star Fox Remix. Anyway, thank you for hanging out, and I will see you all next time. Until then, bye-bye.